Warning, this podcast contains explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Gareth's Random Ramblings. Probably will end up being more of a proper series. But first of all, hi Bex.
Hello.
Did you like that music?
I did.
Sounded quite cool.
It did.
It's a little bit different because today we are doing something called Movie Mondays. Or something Tuesdays. It's probably going to be Movie Mondays.
I like Movie Mondays.
Yeah, well, as long as I remember to put it out on Monday. No, I mean, you know, because we're recording it today, which of course is Monday. Yes, that's the one. No, we thought that, you know, as we said in our normal podcast, normal in inverted commas, that we would normally talk about a movie and then make the podcast go for really, really long. So we thought we'd kind of try and condense it. Granted, our last podcast went for 22 minutes. Which is way longer than what we normally would talk for, but we thought, hey, we'll give this a go, see what happens, and go for a bit of a, this is just about movies, or TV shows, or things we've seen recently, kind of like a ground-up review.
How about digital viewing, darling?
No, that too. That works as well. So here it is. Welcome to Gareth's Random Ramblings Movie Monday. So... We recently chatted about this off air, obviously, and I think we've said it a couple of times on podcasts that, you know, we do watch a lot of movies, but some of the movies that I haven't seen are called classics, or ones that I should have seen, which I haven't seen. Yeah, which I have not seen. Not because I don't want to, it's just I haven't got around to watch them, or I've seen them too much on, you know, Simpsons taking the piss out of them, that I'm like, yeah, I kind of get the story. I understand. It's fine. You know, it's Godfather for one.
You have to see The Godfather.
I know, but I just haven't got around to seeing it yet. But yet being the key word, because I'm sure we'll watch it one day.
Oh, we will.
When we watch it, I'll have the mic in front of me recording the entire watch. I'm watching it, so every time I pick up something or talk, it'll be recorded.
I find it so hard to believe that you haven't seen this sort of... I mean, me, I'm a horror film fanatic. I love my kids' movies as well, and obviously rom-coms. I love them. I'm a bit of a pickle jar with the odd different sizes. Whereas, you know, this is
so, hold on. Let's go back to that amazing analogy just then. You're a pickle jar of all different sizes.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
That's what I said.
All right. I just wanted to make sure. Carry on. Continue. Sorry.
But you see, things like The Godfather,
Yes.
that's a guy's movie. I don't know many guys who are born in our generation who have not actually seen it.
I can think of one off the top of my head.
Who?
Me.
Other than yourself?
Yeah, good point. But like that, like, you know, it took me a while to see Scarface. You know, I still think Seven's a pretty good movie. And
I love Seven. I thought that was good.
Fight Club is like still one of the greatest movies to first watch. Watch it on the second time, and you kind of pick up even more because obviously you know what happens. There may be one or two spoilers in this podcast as well. We should have probably put that at the beginning too, but
just make sure you write it in the description.
We're just rolling with it today, seeing what happens. But but you know, Fight Club, great movie. The first time you watch it, you're like, what? The second time you watch it again, you're like, oh, okay, makes sense. You know, like things are pointed out to you. You didn't probably get it because you were too busy going, Candy Crush.
I watched
Candy Crush.
I said I'd watch it, and I watched it. But to be perfectly honest, I'm a very unusual female, in which case I don't like Brad Pitt. I don't.
Shock horror.
However,
like
I do
Meatloaf.
I love Edward Norton, though.
Yeah, Meatloaf's in that movie too.
Yes, I did notice that.
His name is Robert Paulson. So there's so many things though. I've got in trouble so many times when they've asked me the name. I've said Robert Paulson, and then I've just gone, yeah, whatever, fuck off. It's great. It's great. Anyway, speaking of great movies, we saw the new Pixar movie today called Inside Out, and a couple of days ago we saw the movie Super 8. Now, granted, Super 8 has been around for quite a long time, but I haven't seen it. So we Netflixed it the other day. Bex has seen it about 5 or 6 times. I've seen it once. So those are the 2 movies we're going to focus on today. Should we should we finish on Inside Out, or should we start with it or what? I don't.
That is such a giggity.
It is.
I think let's start with Super 8 and work our way through it. Yeah.
So Super 8. So as you know, Super 8's a story written and directed by J.J. Abrams, one of his first big movies. Produced by Steven Spielberg, all that kind of stuff. It's kids making movies. Shit happens.
And if you don't actually know what Super 8 is, it's actually the size of the film. It's nothing to do with the characters in the movie whatsoever.
Yeah, there's not 8. There's not a superhero group called the Octogenarians or something, or the octopus people.
No, there's not really 8 main.
No. There's not.
I think there are 8.
When you pad it out, okay, maybe. No, the Super 8 is because it's a Super 8 film.
It's about the film, exactly.
And they're making this film for some sort of film festival, I think, is what it was.
He was one of the youngest.
Oh, I must admit, I really have wanted to see this movie for quite a while, but I kind of half-watched it. Like, I was watching it, but I kind of, don't ask me, small details as to what happened or whatever. However... I remember more of that movie than Inside Out, but we'll talk about that later. But no, Inside Out, Super 8 is actually a really good movie for the parts that I'm not saying I didn't, I wasn't watching it all the time. I was kind of tossing between, I don't know. I was watching it. It was a good movie. It's not too shabby. The special effects are pretty cool. And when you finally get to see Cloverfield 1.0, he's a freaky motherfucker. He's scary.
Well, I might have to watch Cloverfield again just to be on the...
Yep.
But, I think this is almost something that you have seen before, but you've never seen before. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a similar storyline to some movies.
Like E.T., for example. Well, basically, E.T., Jurassic Park, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, basically any Steven Spielberg movie, even in any Steven Spielberg movie, there's always a kid, there's no mum, and there's always conflict with the dad. There's always that whole dynamic.
Oh, see, now I was talking about the creatures that you were talking about. Godzilla falls into that category.
No, put that aside. The Steven Spielberg story. There's always a kid who doesn't like dad, and mum's not around.
Did you get the impression that might have been the way he was raised?
Could have been. Yeah. But that's what I picked up on.
This is true. Although, no, E.T. No, that's not right for E.T. because the mother is there. It's the mother, not the father.
Well, okay. Well, then they're missing a parent. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen E.T.
But basically, what?
But yes.
So basically, what happens is there's a group of kids who are making this film for a film festival, and there is a few slight, I wouldn't say really, really, really famous, but you know who they are, kind of actors in the movie, such as David Gallagher and Ali Michalka. For those of you who don't know who she is, she's a Disney kid, and the other one is from Seventh Heaven. And
who's Ali Michalka?
Michalka, they did a whole...
which in the movie, who was it?
The sister. The hot sister.
Oh, the hot sister. Okay, no,
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
but I was going to say it was Elle Fanning that was the...
and Elle Fanning, of course.
Yeah.
Elle. Yes, it is Elle. Sorry.
But also, too, this is the one that I got, too. There was a TV show back in the day called Early Edition where a guy got the newspaper the day... For that day, if that made sense. So, basically, he'd get a newspaper saying, there's a building burning down at 3 o'clock this afternoon kind of thing. So he would go to that building and try and save it. Now, the main actor in that was called Kyle Chandler, who played the dad in Super 8.
Ah.
So that's what I was like. I know where you're... once again, as you said, there's a lot of people you're like, I know where you're from. Why do I know you? You look them up and you're like, oh, that's who you are. Oh, I understand now. Yeah.
And it's great. I mean, it's set in 1979, so just before the 80s revolution, and...
Bell bottoms and Walkmans make huge mentions, and hey, look, I have a Walkman. Hey, yo, what's up? It's like... Oh yeah, I remember them. Yeah,
the 80s, the years of the slinky socks and the oh my god.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on.
But yes, no, it was a good movie. I liked the story, the filming of it, and everything else like this. It reminded me of me when I was a kid, except I didn't have a Super 8 camera, but I always had really weird ideas for stories.
Yeah.
Even now, if I got given a video camera, I could probably and put something together, but it probably wouldn't be that good. But I'd give it a try. But it was quite fun to see them making up all their stuff as well, because it's like a zombie film. So the kids making a zombie film with kids stuff that were kids doing you know what I mean? Like they're doing full-on head explosions or something like that. It was just a kid biting down on a fake blood pellet that they made, or they just had, it was very clever for the kids to do that, because back in the day they would have done that.
Well, exactly. So they wouldn't have had the technology that we have today. And, it's funny. I always feel sometimes like we were born in the wrong decade. Do you ever feel more comfortable watching movies like that and dreaming of the days when a Coca-Cola cost you 5 cents as opposed to $5?
And you could walk down the mile for the
No, but that was 5 years prior to when I was born, and 6 for you. But,
It would have been fun to grow up in that kind of time as well, but we just happened to pop out in 84, 85, so it's fine. Exactly. But it was very, very, very interesting. I enjoyed it immensely, and
as every Steven Spielberg movie, it was bloody well made.
And it had a big fucking monster in it, which was amazing. Granted, it did take a while to get to him, but then again, like Cloverfield, it kind of builds that suspense. When you finally see it, you do go, holy shit, which is kind of what the new Godzilla movie did, as opposed to the Matthew Broderick, in inverted commas, Godzilla movie did, where they just basically came out, here's our monster, take it, there you go, kind of thing. Yeah. They didn't build to it, which is what Cloverfield does, which is what Super 8, which is what Godzilla.
You've really got to build on that suspense. You can't just show it in the first 5 minutes, because people lose interest.
Yeah, granted, of course, it did suck in the new Godzilla. They're like building it. You see it for like 5 minutes and done. It's like, no, come back. I want to see him fight more shit. Which is what I found with also the Transformers movie with the dinosaurs. They'd be built up like, hey, here we go, it's dinosaurs, everything's dinosaurs. They're in it for like 10 minutes. Yeah. I was like, no, come back. Stupid people. But yes, so out of 10, oh no, we'll do it out of 8, actually. Out of 8, how much would you give Super 8?
Ooh.
Bearing in mind, our rating system just basically means absolutely fucking nothing. Like, we could do nothing right now.
Remembering, of course, that, this is how we feel about the movie. Regardless, you may not all feel the same way. You might, and you're more than welcome to challenge us.
Do you know what we should say? Instead of doing a fucking, a number for it, because this is how, prepared we are. We're making the show up as we talk, so it's great. Instead of doing numbers, how about we have a, would you watch it again? If it's in the cinema, it's would you watch it again, which means, oh, that's awesome. I'll buy the Blu-ray or rent it, or I'm done now. So there's the 4 options, right? For a movie like this, would you Netflix it, would you buy it, or would you go and hire it? If that makes sense, because Netflix is free. He uses inverted commas.
I'd buy it, but in fact, I think we actually already own it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah, but I would buy it.
You would buy it?
I'd buy it.
See, I would Netflix it. Kind of like it's one of those. I've seen it. It's cool, but it's not something I'd watch again and again and again and again and again and again. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion.
And that's fair enough. Yeah.
That's everyone's opinion.
Yeah.
Now, new movie though. We're going now into the cinemas. Into the cinema now.
And we really, really needed a laugh this week, because we've had a bit of a crappy week, as you can imagine.
So we went to go see a movie about feelings.
Which was great.
Fantastic. It was Disney Pixar's new movie called
Inside Out.
Inside Out. Thank you. It just went woof just then. I was like, it's something. Inside Out. And as always with all Disney movies, it starts with a lovely little short movie kind of thing. And the short movie on this one, it's not going to spoil it, because if you go see it, you're going to see it anyway. It's about, as far as I'm aware, it's about how Hawaii came about. It's the
You know what? I never even got that. I just thought it was just 2 volcanoes singing to each other.
It's the what do you call it?
Maui?
Yeah, no, yeah, but what the oh god,
when the island came together in one piece.
I want to say origin story, but that's not right. The myth. Thank you. It's like the myth.
Like when
Maui pulled up the North Island. Yeah. The myth story. The origin story. Yeah. The myth story, the fact of how Hawaii came about. And it is actually it was a very cute little song and things like that, so it was quite nice.
It's quite funny that you remember that, because when I watched it, all I thought of was there was a volcano singing because it was lonely.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that it was actually
And then his missus came around, but she was pointing the wrong way, and he was too low to sing to her to tell her to come back around, and then her song brought it back up there, and they got together and it stayed there forever. So nice.
It was lovely, except for when they exploded to come